Welcome back, Northwest Fencing Center. Today, we're going to be working on finger work and footwork challenge. We're going to be working on our finger work and an approaching the line footwork sequence. Today, we're going to break it up into three distinct components. The first component is going to be teaching you the different finger work levels, as well as kind of a do-it-yourself progression if you don't have some of the tools necessary that we're going to be using in today's finger work drills. Part two is going to be explaining the footwork, the approaching the line concept, and our ability to visualize while we do it and what we're visualizing when we are approaching the line when we make those footworks. And then the third part is that we're going to be doing a 20-minute continuous combination of the finger work and the footwork together using our Tabata timer to kind of keep our pace and make sure that we're switching from activity to activity at the right moment. So it's going to be a continuous 20 minutes at that point. If you are returning to use this video, at this point I would recommend fast forwarding to about the last 20 to 23 minutes of the video if you're just wanting to do the combination workout. If you don't know the finger work progressions and the footwork emphasis and progressions, continue to watch. We're going to go through all of that, teach you what we're going to be doing so that last point, you know where we're at when we continue that routine. So first thing we're going to work on is we're going to talk about our finger work. Before we get into that, we're going to need some specialized equipment for today. And I'm going to show you a couple different options to be able to use. Our gold standard for this is going to be this guy right here. This is just a standard vacuum belt O-ring. You could go on Amazon and order a 10-pack of these for $11 or a 3-pack for about $5. So if you want to get a whole bunch, there's a bunch of additional things you can do with these little guys on top of this or in combination, or you can even share the extras with your friends so they would have some finger work challenges as well. If you don't have this O-ring, again, when you're looking for this, it's going to be a round vacuum belt, usually a Eureka on the Amazon site. If you don't have this, what we're going to be doing is giving you a couple other options. Okay, you could use a roll of painter's tape. Here is another type of round tape. Again, you want to get about a 12-inch round circumference. Another way to be able to do this at home is that you could take a piece of rope, tie it off at the end, or here's an 11 to 12-inch zip tie, and you can just go ahead and tie it at the end together, flatten it a little bit, and that can get you a pretty good ring as well. If you're going to be doing some of these do-it-yourself projects, what I recommend doing is if you have the 12-inch zip tie, it's going to be as simple as bringing them together, just clicking a couple of stops. Now you're going to get this kind of oval shape. You're just going to kind of pinch this end here back, and that's going to get you pretty close to that circular shape that we want. All right. If not, go out and find a standard type of nylon cloth rope. What you're going to be doing here, I took about 16 inches of rope, because once we cross this over, we twist it around, and we're going to tie this knot together, we're going to lose some of that rope. And so again, we want about 12 inches around. So once I get this tied around, it's going to be pretty close, the same size as that zip tie, and about the same as our vacuum belt. Okay, all of these are going to be what we want to be able to use for our finger work challenge. If neither of those things work, you can still use just your standard weapon in the rotating fashion that we're going to be using, and or you can take a small towel. This is just a small hand towel. We're just going to fold it in half, fold it in half again. And what we're going to do now that we have about this size, what we're going to be able to do again for finger is we're going to just take this to the end. We're going to wrap it around the end of our weapon. We're going to take either a rubber band to kind of secure it to the end, or if you have a hair tie, both work great for this purposes. What we really want here is we're just adding a little bit of weight to the end of the weapon. So when we do these circular motions, it's going to give us a little bit more of a forearm workout. Okay, this one is pretty easy to be able to manufacture at home if you don't have a rope, zip tie, something along those lines to create the ring. We have the ring. What we're going to be able to do here is we're going to walk you through a few different levels of our finger work. Our first level is just that we're going to keep the weapon, we're going to keep the ring at the end of the weapon, okay? And what we want to be able to have here now is I'm just going to rotate my wrist in clockwise or counterclockwise fashion to get this ring to start spinning. I'm going to go up a little bit off the side here so you can kind of see it spinning at the end of my weapon. Now the real work here is being able to keep that motion nice and tight. This is going to really help us when we're doing a lot of fine point control weapon stuff. So point control where we're feinting and deceiving around a blade. We're working on our beats. We're working on that forearm activation. We want to keep this very small. I don't really want using my forearm, my whole shoulder to be able to get this to go around. As you can see, my bell guard is barely moving at all. And that tip, keeping that ring nice and tight. We want to avoid getting too big where we will lose the ring, being able to work from there, okay? We want to keep that nice and tight and just being able to keep it going. What we're going to be doing this in our combination drill is we want to be able to keep it spinning for 1 minute. 1 minute is a good standard. You can always raise that to a higher time duration if you start to find that you're starting to get pretty beefy on the forearm and it's not really tiring you out. Again, we're going to be doing it multiple times. We're going to be doing it as our active rest in our footwork sequence. Okay, so that's level 1. Level 2 is once you've gotten to the point where you can keep it spinning while you're here, is that we're going to then raise it up. So I'm going to be able now to keep it down. So now gravity is wanting to keep that ring and try to bring that ring down. If I lose control or I stop spinning, my rotations become out of sync, the ring is going to fall. So we're really going to start from horizontal, get it spinning, and then we're going to try to quickly bring it upright. And then it's the exact same drill. We're just going to try to maintain this spin for about a minute. This is made a little bit easier when you have the vacuum belt. It's got a rubber, it's made of rubber, so it's going to have a little bit more grip to the side of your blade. You can do the same thing with your zip tie, but it's a little bit made of harder plastic. It'll still work, but it may slip a little bit more than the rubber ring will. So we want to be able to work on that, but better than nothing at all, okay? So you have your different alternative rings to be able to use. Level 2, bring it straight upright. Level 3, what we're going to be able to do on level 3 is that on every 10 seconds, once we get it upright, we're going to switch directions. So again, we're going to be here, getting it spinning. I'm going to bring it up. I want to keep it going for 10 seconds. Now, after 10 seconds, I'm going to say switch, switch, and I'm going to now go be spinning my wrist the other direction, counterclockwise. Switch, switch. Now, if I can do this well, I'm not going to lose it. It's going to be hard. You may start to find that it comes down a little bit after each one. Your goal again, make it to 60 seconds. Switch. Even as it gets lower, keep it spinning. Switch. As you go down. All right, so that's our level 3. 4th level, you're really starting to get this really down. You can start to have a little bit of fun with this. We're going to start from here. We're going to bring it straight. We're going to bring it to upright. And we're going to transfer from upright to down. We're going to hold it here. Same thing, 10 to 20 seconds. We want to then bring it back to upright. So it's going to be a little bit trickier to go from high, maintaining that, to low, to maintaining that, and bringing it back up. So you're going to switch slowly, carefully, trying to be able to make that rotation as you go up and down. Another variation that you can do in the earlier stages when you're just doing it in front is just being able to do it while extending and while retracting. So we just want to work on that being able to, again, watch how small that bell guard movement is as I get that arm fully extended. As it comes back, as it comes out, I might even add some footwork, a little lunge. I'm going to change direction. There's a lot of ways that you can use this ring to really work on that grip and that forearm strength. After about a minute, it's getting pretty tiring. But doing this on a regular basis is going to increase your grip strength, increase your forearm strength, and overall going to give you finer point control and hand blade movement. That's one of the reasons we want to be able to do the ones where we're spinning and changing directions, especially when we want to change for beating the blade or just avoiding the blade as we come forward with our hand. When we can start to work on our hand being able to extend, our arm being able to extend while our arm can change directions, and our wrist movement is independent of the arm. That's really a separation of movement we want to have in fencing. Okay, so those are our different levels on our finger work drills. So we're going to go ahead and put that off to the side. Hopefully you have one of those things available. If not, you can always still just do the spinning. You're just going to try to keep that to a nice tight circle, a little bit bigger than your epee bell guard. You're using a foil. Keep it nice and about the same size here. So as we work, we're going to go ahead and put that off to the side. We're going to be doing our active footwork and blade work here in between our footwork sets when we get into the combination drill. All right, the next thing we're going to work on is we're going to work on the footwork. I'm going to teach you each one. We're going to have a block that's going to be mostly establishing your distance control and mastery. The next is going to be your ability to work on hiding your actual attack after you've established distance control and mastery and your ability to draw out your opponent. We're going to work on this as I call the approach the line philosophy. So today we're really going to literally use this copper line on our fencing strip to kind of indicate and visualize the critical distance in a fencing match. What I want you to be thinking about in front of me is my opponent. Okay, my opponent, if I am across this line and attacks me, I'm not going to be able to escape in time and get away from their attack with distance. So this is a critical distance point. So I really want to be focusing on my ability to calmly approach the line, but know that if I cross the line, I'm going to need to either be able to quickly escape instantly before the attack, or eventually use it to hide my attack without giving it away. So on our first one, we're really going to be focusing is just that, our ability to approach the line, and as soon as we cross the line, be able to safely escape. So in this case, what I'm focusing on is one of two things. Either, as I'm about to cross the line, I believe my opponent's going to attack me. And so I'm preemptively opening the distance so that my opponent will not be able to reach me with their advanced lunge attack. The other option is perhaps that my opponent opens the distance too big and I don't want to pursue, so I call off the action. I call off the attack and I can start the motion again. As I approach this line, approaching the line is really a very critical moment in fencing where you're going to have to make a decision soon. So as you approach that line, you want to visualize what's going on across the way, what is my opponent doing, and how is that going to affect the decision that I'm going to need to make. Attack, get away. So as I approach that, I want to be thinking, if my opponent is there, but I'm not prepared to attack, I need to escape all the same. I'm not going to force the action if I'm not ready to go, or I don't see a good opportunity. If I approach the line, and before I even get to the line, my opponent attacks me, clearly I'm probably going to get away. If I'm in a right-of-way weapon, of course, and I'm moving forward, I want to make sure I'm doing very smooth, because I may want to use that to take my right-of-way and attack my opponent. We're going to assume that, for the sake of argument, they're attacking into your prep and you need to escape. So we're going to get to that line, we're going to get away. On this first level, the real focus here is approaching the line, crossing into that critical distance, getting away, and then being very stable in our position afterwards. That's our main focus. Approach the line, cross the line, get away, and establish that position. What we want to avoid is on that escape, we may do something that we shift our balance. We're now on that back leg or we're leaning away too far. Part of that's because we're going to be going back into pursuit or attack. once we've established a safe distance. And I don't want to waste time shifting my weight to be able to make that attack, advanced lunge, pursuit. I want to be able to instantly be able to come in, instantly be able to pursue. So I want to already be in that locked and loaded position once I escape. So again, like most things, the pedagogy of the process here is being able to establish great initial baselines. So we start very simple. We get away, we establish control, great positionings, and we're going to build on it. Okay? So the next level on this is that we're going to be able to get away and go as we progress, right? So we're going to approach the line. This time when we cross over the distance, we're going to get away, and we're going to go. We're going to go with a lunge. Establish that. We're going to relax, give ourselves some space, and we're going to build in. I like to think of a lot of times when I approach the line that as I approach the line, because it's that critical distance where I'm going to have to make that decision, I'm going to start slowing down, or I may make a lot smaller steps. Why would making smaller steps help me as I approach critical distance? A lot of reasons why. The main one here is the smaller my steps are, if my opponent is trying to catch me before I get to that spot, if I'm making small steps, the moment they attack me, now I can get away. If I'm making big steps, at least in epee, where they might catch me in the moment. As I get closer and closer, if I'm making a big step and they catch me in a big step, I can't change direction, which means I can't escape or potentially can't pursue instantly. If I'm making smaller steps, I get closer. The instant I want to go, or in this case, the instant I get to the distance where I think they can't escape, or I want to bait them into attacking me where I know that I can get away safely, I'm going to be able to do it the instant I need to. And I'm going to be able to bait and draw, or approach and finish my action. So I'm really focusing as I get closer to being smooth and making smaller and smaller steps. If I'm right-of-way weapon, I may just want to focus on being very smooth and still being able to make that decision as I cross the line without making any pauses. If I'm focusing on right-of-way style, I just want to make sure I'm not losing right-of-way at any point. If I stop and then pursued, our referees may decide my attack is over. This would open up an opportunity for my opponent, and then I'm attacking into their attack, and they have the right-of-way. Okay, approaching the line, smaller and smaller steps, staying smooth. Cross the line, get away. Now second level. Get away and go. Release, and then reapproach. We're going to get away 2 times. On the 3rd time, we're going to do it as a get away go. And release. We're going to continue to repeat that pattern. We're going to approach, cross the line, get away. Cross the line, get away. Cross the line, get away, go. Release. And start again. That way we're building on level 1. Before and using that skill, get away, go. We're gonna make sure that those lunges are in balance. Of course, knee never goes over our ankle. We end, we can then maintain that lunge, recover in one motion. That was in balance. Very important when doing footwork. We are doing it for perfection. We wanna make sure we're not developing any bad habits or developing any tendencies that may lead to injuries. Next level on this is just gonna be a very similar concept, but instead of stepping over the line with a check step motion, front foot, back foot, get away, we're going to approach that line. We're going to do that with a little jump. So as I come up to the line, I can make that smaller steps, hop, and then get away. Hop in, hop out. Hop in, hop out. And on that 3rd one, hop in, hop out, and go. So we're still going to be using that get away, go philosophy, but now we're going to use it with that kind of hopping in and out. When I do that type of footwork, again, keeping my feet balanced about shoulder width apart, but when I jump, my feet, the distance between my feet doesn't really change. I jump in, my feet never really change. I jump out, my feet never change. And I'm able to establish that strong lunge. Reset, give myself some distance to approach my line. On the next one, jump in, jump out. Jump in, jump out. Jump in, jump out. And go, establishing all those great baselines that we started from on the first two levels. Okay, so that's gonna be our establishing distance mastery and our ability to draw out our opponent. If I'm able to use this myself, basically as human bait, crossing this line to get them to feel the moment they can attack me, and then make them short, and attack, parry, and repost, whatever your philosophy is, whatever your style is, that's gonna be a great way to establish that distance control. Eventually, let's face it, if your opponent continually can't reach you, and or continually you draw their attack out, nullify it, and then establish attacks and score, they're not gonna wanna attack you anymore, okay? That's a good thing. But then you're going to be able to transition to the next side of this, where you're going to be actually entering that critical distance, and they're reluctant to attack you at critical distance. They're afraid to bring the fight to you because you've proven you've been using that as a defensive strategy to draw them out. This is a great way to now use that same approach and philosophy to start to hide your attack and ideally make them nearly invisible. They're not afraid if they're not willing to attack you and they're not going to get away, you're going to be able to find the moment. Or the strip is only so long, eventually you're going to have them pinned and they're not going to be able to leave. So now we're going to focus on our approach. And we're going to focus on it very similar, where we're making tiny steps. We're going to cross that line, get away. Cross that line to get away. And now I'm going to cross that line and pursue. The goal here is that we really want the first two to start all the way until a foot lands and look exactly the same. So you would not be able to tell until right there that that was going to become the attack. This is a great opportunity when you're using video. You can potentially do the same thing where you have to set up your camera, watch your video yourself doing these footworks, and then later on, go back and watch and see if you can tell before the foot lands which one it was going to be. Did you think you were going to get away, or did you think you were going to go? If you can't tell because the approach looks identical on both, you're doing it right. And that's the focus. The focus really is on the excellence of identical approach all the way up to the decision point to transfer to going, or the decision point to get away. If when you approach the line, you can already tell that you're kind of afraid to cross the line, and you're leaning back, almost pretty much telegraphing to your opponent that you want to get away, they're going to pick up on that, and they're going to read it. Fencers love patterns. And if you are accidentally giving them a tell or a pattern, they're going to figure you out. What you want to be able to do is have a perfect poker face where they can't tell which one you were going to do until you eventually pull the trigger and make the attack work. So the first level is just being able to go. We're going to do it tiny advances. Approaching that line. Boom, 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 boom. Whether you are a right-of-way fencer and you're going to carry that down as a marching attack, or you're an epee fencer who's going to use that as beat, tack, go, doesn't matter. We're just going to work on that transition to fast pursuit. Quick, attack. Quick, lunge. Quick, in-fight. However you want to go. Second level, exactly the same thing. We're going to come down, but instead of landing, we're going to transition that into a last second lunge. So again, what do I want to be able to see? Maybe they don't know whether I'm going to get away after I cross the line. Or if I'm going to transition that into my lunge. I could do a similar thing and do the same thing and transition to a smooth, advanced lunge, hiding my action. So we really want to be able to get that approach through repeated use to hide it. So in the first minute of our workout, we're always going to just do it. A third one is the real one. The first two, try to imagine you could go, but you chose not to, either because you didn't want to, or maybe your opponent attacked you, and so you got away. Maybe you approach the line and they open the distance too big. I can't afford to do that, so you let them go. But maybe the third one, they hinder, they wait there a little bit too long, and you see the moment. You think that they're going to pause, and you see the opportunity to make your strong attack, and you go. In the second minute, we're going to let you choose on your own. I'm going to do my own. You're going to do your own. I want you to visualize. And/or you can watch what I'm doing while you're doing it, and you can try to see if you can pick up on the moment. See if you can react to mine fast enough, or if you can pick up on any tells that I'm giving away. If I do it well, hopefully you can't tell until the decision is already made, and then you have to keep up with me. If you're keeping up with me in a real match, you're already hit, and that's what we're looking for, okay? The last one we're gonna do on this sequence is similar with the approach. Now we can do the same thing. In the second level, we could do it with a jump across and back, or jump across and go, depending on what styles you use. If you like that jump over the line, jump back, work we did in the previous one, and you want to be able to use that hide there. That's another option for number 2. Number 3, though, what we're going to do on this attack is approach the line and transition into our flesh. Approach the line, stay smooth, be able to get away. Be able to jump away. Or be able to transition smoothly into our flesh. Again, same idea. The half step works really well. Be able to put the foot down and push off. Put the foot down and then transition and smoothly cross over. Or some people who have flesh where it looks very much like the lunge, where you put the foot down, that foot just picks up at the last second and stretches into the lunge. Or that foot stretches out and very similarly rolls into an extending flesh, okay? So on our hide the attack, we have approach the line, rapid steps go, approach the line, advanced lunge or lunge, approach the line, jump across, jump back, jump across to go, or our last one, which is approach the line to conceal the flesh. First level, we're going to focus on the go. Second level, focus on lunge. Third level, we're going to work on the flesh. The last thing we're going to do after we go through all of our sequences is we're going to have a rest period of 2 minutes. And in that last 2-minute rest period, we're going to go free form. You have all the options on your own. You can decide to get in, get away, go, approach and flesh, approach and lunge, advanced lunge, however you want. You're going to really take this moment to just really focus on the imaginary opponent in front of you and the situation. Is my opponent attacking me? And am I responding appropriately? Getting away. Is my opponent stalling or forgotten to move, staying in distance, and I want to pursue? Is my opponent pulling the distance and is too far to pursue? These are the 3 real most common things you are going to be having to visualize and then instantly make a fast decision on. So those are going to be the things that you want to really focus on in our visualization. Everything clear? All right. So as we get now into it, remember, we're going to have our weapon nearby with our do-it-yourself ring that we built, or the one we ordered. Now we're going to use that during the 1-minute breaks in between our footwork. We're going to use that as our active rest, and we're going to be using that. That's why it's going to be 20 minutes between the ring movements and our footworks. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to grab our Tabata timer here. I'm going to show you from the timer app. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give ourselves 10 seconds to prepare. I'm going to give ourselves, it's going to be 120 seconds, so 2 minutes of work on each of the levels that we're going to do. After we do the first level of 2 minutes, and then give ourselves 70 seconds. That gives us a little time to go to our weapon, pick it up and get the ring, and then a minute of spinning. All right, we're going to do 6 cycles. We're going to do 3 on the getaway distance mastery and 3 on the attack. We're going to do only 1 set. We're going to do no rest between the sets, and we're going to do a 2-minute cool down, so 1 minute and 20. That cool down is really going to be that final do-it-yourself, combine all the levels for that last 2-minute stretch. And then we're going to actually go into our active cool down. We're going to do a little bit of stretching to finish off the set. And that's going to be our activity for the day. So with that, you got the app ready or you're ready to move with me. So we're going to go ahead. And the first thing we're going to be doing is focusing on our approach to line and get away. That's it. So here we go. Get away after you cross the line. Approach the line. So a lot of us is going to be moving nice and smooth. Get across the line. Get away. Focus is on smooth as we approach the line. Getting across the line. Coming to the end, being stable at the end, and then reapproaching. If you want, you can stop. You can relax a little bit to give yourself a little bit more space, and then it gives you a little bit more approach for whatever line you're using to do your footwork. If you approach that line, I can vary the tempo a little bit. I could vary the size. Again, as I get closer, though, usually I'm entering closer and closer to my actual opponent's distance. So I really want to focus on being very careful. So the steps are going to allow me to break away from my opponent the moment they might attack me. We're never going to last or pause very long in any of our pursuits. Remember, focusing on and across that line, stable at the end, knowing that we're going to build up lunges, advanced lunges, flushes on these. Either way, I want to be in a good position. I feel like I can immediately go. I'm not losing my balance and shifting my weight. Once you start to get comfortable with this, try to make sure your upper body is very loose. You could even start imagining you have a blade in your hand, faking as you cross that line. Remember, we're trying to hide eventual attacks. All right, we're going to switch over, grab our weapon, grab our ring, and begin. Again, first level, we may just start neutral and just keep the ring spinning for the whole time. You feel pretty comfortable that you can keep that ring spinning the whole time. If you can keep it spinning, get to a full extension. Bring it back to elbow to your hip. Extend. Elbow to hip. Think you're comfortable with that. You can go ahead, bring that arm up, and keep it spinning. If this is your first time and it slips, no worries. Very common. It's going to take some practice to get this down. The goal is if it does slip, does come down, just quickly get it back on the end. Start from that horizontal level and get it back up. All right, put it away and go back to our footwork. Next thing we're going to do is get away, go. So now we're going to do the first two as our get away. Stable body. On that third one, get away, go with lunge. Release, reset, come back in. First two, get away. Approach, get away. Third one, get away. Go. Approach. Cross that line. That's the danger zone. Critical distance. Get away. Stable. There's one. Strong lunge. Good position. Recover. Release. Shake it back out. Don't build too much tension. And keep moving. Okay, now we're into our second minute. It's up to you now. The 60 seconds. You decide when they attack you. You have an opponent, you cross the line, they're too far away from you. I approach the line, they attack me, I got away, I want to make my attack. Get away, go. Release. Next action. Approach. Too far away. Sometimes you approach and you just don't feel you were in the right spot. So you reset. No reason to force it. There'll be lots of opportunities. Get away and go. You're deciding now, so play with it. Approach the line, get away. Get your hand involved. Get away. Find that moment. Again, does it look the same each time? Back to our weapon. And get it up. Again, in 60 seconds, this is our active rest. Then we'll get right back to it. Our next one will be those jump overs and jump backs. We're gonna keep that spinning. Again, if this level is good for you, then it's where you can start doing the change of direction. Now I'm going counterclockwise. Again, you want to keep it pretty tight. Keep it spinning. Change. Change. You actually get to the point where the change is change. You can actually get it a little bit higher. Change. 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 All right, back to our footwork. Approach the line. Now we're going to do that little, get to the line, jump over, jump back. Approach the line, jump over, jump back. Approach the line, jump over, jump back. Go. First minute, first two are always going to be reestablishing the movement and the stability. Being locked and loaded, crossed and stable. They lose. Third one, boom, boom, being able to go. We're assuming that at that point, first one, and the third one, they've finally taken the bait. They've made that attack, second one. And the third one, they're taking the bait, boom, boom. You've made them just short, and attack, maybe you parried. You want to drive in that repost however you want it. All right, now we're into our second minute of this. It's on you. So focus on your own timing now. It doesn't have to be the third one. When you see your opponent take that bait, cross, come, making sure you finish. You cross, they run away. You don't want to force the action. Maybe you threaten, they throw a defense you weren't expecting. You don't want to go into that. You're not ready. Maybe after seeing that 2 or 3 times, that you have a pattern. So now you know what that's going to be. You can solve it with the attack. It's a great way to do some safe recon as you go. As you can probably tell, I'm really focusing on maintaining continuous flow and movement. Again, as I approach, I want to stay smooth. Switch back, grab your weapon. Active rest. Get started and begin. Again, perhaps this time we're going to work on bringing it up, bring it down. Bring it through, lose it, no problem. Bring it back to the end. Get started. Right back up where you started. Left off. Keep it spinning. All right, I'm going to try to go fancy here. Keep it going. Spin. Keep that extension. Retraction. Or just keep it up. All right, put it back. Last one on this. We just did our jumps. Now we're going to approach. First one, just get away. Second one, get away. Third one now, we want it to look like the first two. We're going to use that to pursue our attack. We're going to do rapid advances on those attacks when we go. Back to the first one. We approach the line. We know we're not going to go on this one. We're still establishing distance control and mastery, making sure we want to take that plunge into the full-on attack. Back pedal, get back in position. And also, in the first one, get away. Second one, get away. Third one, 2. My line is right there on the other side. I was going to immediately get to the next one. Approach the line. Now I decide on the second minute whether I want to or not on my own time. Turn around, your line is there. Approach your line. Always visualize. Is this my moment? No, it's not. Approaching that moment. That's my point of view. He's staying still. Pursuing and finish. Spin around. Start your next one. Approach your line. Critical distance. Critical distance. Critical distance. Get away. Approach your line. Critical distance. Finish. Approach your line. Change up how you approach the line. Tempos. Size of your steps. Approach the line. Approach your line. All right. Back to your weapon. Ready? Begin. Again. By doing this in between each one, giving yourself a chance to catch your breath, your arms to recover. Oil, but reinforcing the muscle memory. Doing great. Keep it up, stay focused. Again, keep it very tight. I don't want my arm to be moving. I really want this to be very tight. Feeling here, my forearm is very tight right now. Squeezing my pistol grip, or if you're doing it with the French grip, doesn't matter. Really keep that very, very tight. Keep that going around. It magnifies a lot at the end of that movement and how much my tip is going. But remember, the reality is when I make a disengage or a beat, I just need to get from one side of the blade to the other, or from one side of the bell to the other, and that's not a very big movement. All right, next one, approaching the line to do our lunge. Getting away on the first two. On the third one, extend it into the lunge. So trying to really focus like, could I lunge? I could lunge, but I'm not going to lunge. I go on, same thing. I could lunge, and I knew I'm approaching that last, close to that distance, and then I can conceal that movement on the third one when I do want to lunge, or when they have the true opportunity to make that attack. Third one again. Conceal that movement. Go a couple more. Approach the line. Approach your line. Critical distance. Make a decision. I don't want to do it. Wasn't there. Wasn't there. Distance got too big. My opponent doesn't look like they're moving. Boom. Find that moment. Decide on your own now. If you're not paying attention, you can move in and out a little bit more as you approach the line. It doesn't matter if we stall, because we're not going to lose right away. If you're foiled, really try to maintain continuous forward progress. When you do any kind of footwork where you're going to watch yourself afterwards to correct yourself or show your coach so they can give you feedback, try to get this side angle. It's going to really make it much easier for them to really tell, are you varying the size of your step? Are you staying smooth? Are you continuously flowing? So you're coming to a stop and then continuing. You really want to be able to do that. It's going to give you a lot better position to get feedback and give yourself feedback. All right. Ready? And go. Good chance to catch your breath. But focus on your technique here. And even if you keep it at the same level the whole time, it's all about challenging your muscles, that muscle memory, by repeating it and going back to it over and over again. You're telling your body, we do this a lot, it's time to upgrade. Doing this a lot, we need to be able to hold it out longer. If the fatigue is getting to you, try your best to push through that. Your body has a lot of limits it tries to place on itself. You need to challenge those limits as best you can, and then establish new limits. Last 10 seconds. All right. This one we're going to do with our flesh. If you don't flesh a lot, this is where you can use the advanced lunge. Again, first ones. You approach the line, thinking about the flesh, and then getting away. On our third one. Oops. That was supposed to be a flesh. On our third one. We're going to tap into your flesh. Come right back in and approach. First two. Still be able to get away. You can vary the depth if you want to get away. Third one. Hide that moment. Moment's good. Hide that flesh. At the end, as you approach, next one. Third one. If you don't have a lot of space, or if you're doing this, you can also do this as a short flesh. Now we're on your own. You decide when you approach that line, if the moment is there, you may let go. And this is where watching yourself, knowing it could be at any one, it could be totally random, and I tell the difference on the approach if you think it's going to be a flesh. You watch, you tell me it's going to be a flesh. As I approach, it's going to be a flesh. If you can't tell until that flesh actually starts, then you're doing it right. You could tell even before I got there, I started to clench. I always clench before I flesh. You're giving it away. All right, this is our 2 minutes. We're going right back into it. Now it's everything, right? Now I approach the line. You get away goes. I can approach. Flash. Mix up all those levels. You can probably start to imagine other levels in between. Again, adding more feints and probing actions as you find a moment. Then come right back in with that same focus. Looking for the moment. Anytime you find a moment, you want to be able to jump on it and make a decision to attack. If you don't see that moment, you're going to pass. Hold that hand. Don't go all in on a hand. It's not going to score. Pass the ball. Look for a better shot. Wait for the right opportunity. Coaching. Nope, not there. Visualize your opponent. What are they doing? What opportunities do you see? And come right back in. Revisualize. Last 3 seconds. Almost there. Varying steps. Here we go. Attack me. Approach. epee. Get away, go. He's going to attack. Nope. Maybe they're too afraid to attack. They're not ready to get away. Use that to hide my attack. Last one. All right. Nicely done. That is a great 20-minute warm-up routine. Get your forearm, wrist movement activated and strengthened. The footwork, and most importantly, something we don't do a lot of on our own, which is visualization when we warm up. Not just to do footwork, but to have a purpose behind the footwork. So do something deliberate with your footwork and really try to visualize what's going on the other side. Try to visualize and make quick decisions at the last second. If you had somebody you were training with, they might be able to call out scenarios or even stand on the other side to give you distance decisions. But in this case, it's a great way to do this. Like many of our videos, I'll give you how many iterations a week you might want to do. This 20-minute routine could basically be done almost every single day. It's not going to kill you. It's really going to start to build up forearm strength over time, and you're going to be able to up those levels, the 4 levels I gave you, and you're going to be able to up your cardio, and you're going to get better and better at making quick decisions, and ideally, hopefully, you're being very critical of your position, maybe even getting some feedback to make sure that when you get to the decision making to hide or escape, you're not giving anything away as you approach the line. Last couple things we want to be able to do, we have a lot of forearm stuff. So we're just going to really do this forearm stretch. A common injury in fencing is tennis elbow or fencer's elbow. And that's too much tension right here from all that squeezing and forearm here. A lot of times after doing an exercise like this, the forearm is going to be very hard, almost inflated, because you're activating a lot of blood there. So we want to stretch out those tendons. Don't let them get too tight. So when they get too tight and shorten, that we start to have those tendinitis and tendon issues. So we really want to prevent that from happening. This is a very easy one to do after any activity like this, after practice. Even if you're driving from work or school, you could use this by resting your hand on the steering wheel, at red lights, of course, while you're waiting for it to turn green. So you can even get 10 or 20 seconds of this kind of stretch on just daily things that you're doing. Again, finding ways, just like our active rest was really working on our strength of our forearm, you can take those active breaks in your day, and while you wait for something else to happen, you could be doing something for your fencing by stretching your body out, maximizing the time in your day, and taking something that was literally doing nothing and working on some of your flexibility on that. We're going to go ahead and just do some wrist rotations, nice and slow. I'm going to get 10 or 12 rotations, and switch direction. Hands really open, try to really be loose. Really try to keep the shoulders low. We're not really building up tension. You want to keep your arms straight. Get the same rotation, that's fine. It can be tense when visualizing an opponent. Even your shoulders can start to get tight, even though we weren't in an actual fight. We're not really wearing our mask, so it's still good for us to rotate our shoulders. It's going to do 10 backwards. And forwards. That's one. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead, take your hand, grab your head, just put a little pressure lightly, stretch out the side of your neck. Tension on our necks can get really high, especially when we're fencing. Breathe through it. Bring it up at least slowly. Switch sides. Light pressure on your neck. Again. Deep breath. more. Release slowly. We're going to go all the way around. We're going to chin down to our chest. We're going to rotate slowly around and follow the contours of our body. Nice and slow. Rotate your head all the way around. Take your time. And really keep the tension in your shoulders low. You're like me, you hear a lot of crunching noises. That's normal, I think, I hope. Relax, try to really release some of that tension. Roll it out, let's do one more. Reverse the direction. Great, take time. Forward. Do two more full rotations around. Last one. And relax. Thanks for joining us on today's footwork and finger work practice and drills. Hope you had fun making your ring for working on your form, practicing and strengthening the footwork routine and adding some deliberateness and focused to adding some visualization to your footwork and your training routines. Hope you'll join us again for another in our series. Please like and subscribe so you'll get updates as soon as we make more of these. Remember that this particular one in our series could be done every day. It could be done prior to training, at tournaments, on the road, in between before lessons. These are great things to be able to do in different variations, and you get into a pattern and they become more and more natural for you. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Stay fit.